because we have a panel, but first I'd like to welcome Constantine to the stage.
Well, thank you very much, Joanna. For those that you don't know me, I'm Constantine Camaras, and I have the honor of being IAB Europe's Chairman Emeritus. And I'm delighted to introduce the concluding session of the day, indeed the concluding session of our Congress, on a topic that's very, very dear to my heart, the advertising strategies from premium publishers, not only because historically I come from publishing, but also because I think that over the last 3 years, with the world having gone slightly mad, I think the financial predicament, the position of premium news publishers as a provider of a fundamental service in open and democratic societies is a critical issue. And the financial independence and prosperity of premium news providers is something that we should all very deeply care about. Another reason why I think it is great to conclude these fantastic 2 days with this topic is because we at IAB Europe have premium publishers as a key part of our membership, both in our board. 1/3 of our corporate board members are premium publishers, whether they come from print, historically, or broadcast. But also, lest we forget, publishers are the backbone of national IABs, of our member national IABs, the 27 national IABs that we have. So we are very much an association that represents also the interests and aspirations of premium publishers. And there's a lot to talk about, and I think there could have been no better intro than Robert's presentation. A series of key issues, such as first-party data strategies, where do we stand? Particularly, I was especially intrigued with regards to contextual, what used to be, or what is still potentially regarded as a USP for premium publishers. Does it remain the case? And if so, why or why not? But also things like digital video, making a great bridge from Augustin's presentation earlier. You all might recall that 5 or 6 years ago, some publishers, mainly pure play publishers, decided to do the infamous pivot to video. That did not go too well. But now publishers are increasingly reassessing their position concerning the digital video marketplace, and there's plenty of opportunities, challenges as well, needless to say, to discuss. Finally, same thing goes for e-commerce and retail media. After the e-commerce boom of the last few years, but also given the evolving retail media marketplace, it is very important to locate, assess, and clearly define and discuss premium publishers' competitive advantages in those areas. So many things to talk about. I would like to thank the panelists that will now participate in the panel, both publishers and key solutions providers. And I'll hand over again to Joanna to moderate the panel, thanking her for an amazing job, for guiding us over the last 2 days. Thank you so much, Joanna.
Gosh, I wasn't expecting that. So thank you very much, Constantine. So Constantine has given us a really good overview of what we're going to discuss on this panel. So could I please invite the panelists to the stage to take a seat? Should the projector come back, we'll be able to see who's who. But I'll invite you all to introduce yourselves. And I get to sit down.
Okay. This is mine.
Okay, great. So let's start with you, Augustin. If you could just introduce, if in case anybody wasn't in the room, just introduce yourself.
So I'm still the same guy that you have seen like a few minutes ago, Augustin Decré. You can call me Gus.
Yeah.
Gus.
I know you.
And I'm the Regional Managing Director, Southern Europe, Middle East and Africa at Index Exchange. And we work with premium publishers. We are an SSP that have been launched more than 20 years ago by Andrew Casale in Canada.
Hello, Brice.
And I'm Brice. I'm working for PRISA Media, which is one of the largest editorial group in Spain. And I'm in charge of the yield management of the monetization of the group and the relation with the partners.
And you saw me already, Robert Blanck from Axel Springer.
And thank you very much for waking us all up as well. So excellent presentations from you both. Let's start with the first question to you, Brice, because we've just heard a lot about first-party data, approaches to identity, the death of the third-party cookie from Robert. So I just wanted to hear, what's the approach of PRISA when it comes to first-party data?
So I was looking at the keynote of Robert and different markets, same challenges, definitely yes. We are quite aligned. The first-party data and the disappearance of the third-party cookies are a challenge, but we are addressing that. We think that the first job is to be able to unify the data. You explained very well, it's really a technical challenge. And once this data is unified, you know, the idea is to make it actionable. So in PRISA, the way we are doing this, to unify the data, we were working all last year, you know, trying to unify this data thanks to the CDP of Adobe. Now the job is done, and we have 3 lines of actions to be able to action this data. We have a digital product, so it means when you know your user, you are able to engage him more, you know, and try to have logged-in users as well, which is a challenge we will see later why. But this is the first angle. The second one would be marketing, how we can get more subscribers, because actually in the PRISA group, I don't know, we are dealing with El País, Diario ES, and in El País we have a subscription model, you know, so the first-party data and the way we know our user is helping us to get more subscribers. And the last point, which is about monetization, is how we can action this data for the demand. So here we have 2 challenges, how we will be able to monetize the user anonymous and the one we know. So for the anonymous, we are working on several things. You know, for example, we are trying the PPID solution of Google. We kind of like it because it's transparent for the demand. It means we gather our first-party data, we push it to the technology, and the demand, I mean the buyer, doesn't have to do anything. So we see there in this kind of solution some scale. So what we would like to do is, it's okay to work with Google, but it will be good to have less dependency. So what we'd like to do is to replicate this action, the possibility to action the data on our side without, you know, having to explain it to the demand. So we are now sitting with a lot of text to be able to, technologies to be able to replicate this idea. We are exploring contextual definitely, and we are also exploring the ID from the telcos you were mentioning, which is definitely very interesting.
Utique, yeah.
Exactly.
Now, the new name, because beforehand it was TrustPit, but now it's Utique.
And for the logged users, but we are testing, and we know, I know because we had a quick chat before, we have some discrepancies on the strategy, but in PRISA what we are doing is we are exploring solutions in the market. ID5 is definitely one we are exploring, you know, for the logged users, how to connect our knowledge to the demand. And we are also, and on this regard, it's difficult because the challenges, but you mentioned this, you know, I won't be able, it will no need to go deep because you explained everything, but our challenges are definitely legal, technological, and the big issue right now is the scale of this, you know, because it's difficult for us, you know, it's difficult to be able to share, you know, your knowledge of the first-party data if you don't have, you know, the subscribers or the registered users and logged in while they are navigating in your website, you know, to be able to offer this scale and to match with the database of the advertisers. So really, I think we went through the technical challenge, but now we have a product challenge. How do we incentivize our audience to be able to navigate logged in and be able to action the data with the demand?
So you want to encourage more logins, more authenticated users, but when we talk about first-party data, I think Robert gave a great overview. It's not just about hashed emails from your subscribers, right?
That's at the moment a bridge. The email addresses is the bridge in addressability of first-party data.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of bridges. At the end, perhaps everyone is logged in and you can then better work. But we see it from a democratic point of view and about free content, which I think is important for society. We think getting everyone logged in is not the final solution. We get it up. We will get to a really much better percentage on publishers, and there are publishers who really are hard, but this more or less most of the, if you are the most exclusive, most demanded content in the world, perhaps you can say it's only with login. But there is a whole bunch of other publishers which are doing not the premium, and they cannot say, hey, you only have to log in. This is a trouble, and perhaps there will be a move, but I think information should be free and very easy to find, and so you have to have an option to do it with the cookie or whatever, the non-logged in world that should still work. And so, yeah, there is the question there.
Yeah, information should be free. We need to ensure that we can...
Not free, but free with a value exchange.
Okay, so we need to work on the value exchange, but we also need to ensure that consumers can read the content, view the content from a variety of a diverse source of media.
Hopefully the advertisers also want that, because I think advertisers don't want that this is, because they're funding this with their money, free content, and bringing this to society. I think that's helpful. And we have to find a way how we do that in a good way, that publishers are profiting, that they can still do this business for the next decade.
So back to you, Brice. What do the advertisers ask you for from a first-party data perspective? What are they asking for?
Currently, the challenge is definitely, trying to solve the technical problems in terms of IDs with technology like yours. So that's really the hot topic currently. I mean, from an operative point of view, okay, how do we match? Do we do it with a pair initiative of Google? Do we want to do it? So currently, it's more, we are still in the learning curve, just to be, okay, it works technically, we have to get the scale, but currently we see this from advertisers and agencies as well. We are still in the process to be prepared when the third-party cookie has the appearing.
Be prepared.
I think but the problem is for the advertiser, what we see is sometimes, so they're educated on doing always, they're still sometimes in this bucket of targeting, tracking, and they only look on this side. I think they have a blind spot, something that there is another world which is a high bunch of reach, which are not really completely having in their mind, because perhaps frequency capping is not working, and this is why it cannot be done. So I think the problem, everyone, even the media planners, the more juniors, they're already born into this world where this is all working. And I think having a new view and trying to find new ways on how this world is going, I think that is a harder move, that then publishing can say, hey, we have here offers with first-party data, but this is so granular at the moment that this is a question of the scale. So how can we give to agencies and advertisers a scale option to scale, book scalable first-party data in a good, easy way? So that is more or less from our perspective.
So it has to be scalable, it has to be easy, it has to be accessible, and then it's not a technical issue because there's many technical options. It's not a product issue, it's more of a cultural issue. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, it's also, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
there's more education. So Gus, I know this is something your CEO has talked about a lot as well. What's the approach from Index Exchange on first-party data?
So first of all, it's not new. I used to work in the data ecosystem in a German company called NugAd. And so at that time, we were facing like two types of strategies. The DMP strategies, where you didn't have any, you just had a box where you needed you would have to define the taxonomy, etc. And the predefined DMPs like NugAd was used to bring on the market. So it's not new, but for us, and you said the three keywords: addressability, standardization, simplicity, and scale. As an exchange, we need scale, Without scale, the advertisers, they don't care. They don't want customized audience. They want scale and standardized audience.
Yeah.
So the more it's standardized, the better it is, because at the end, it's what the advertisers
That's why I sometimes miss advertisers on these third-party deprecation cookie panels. Sometimes I need like a view really on advertisers who are really doing the job and saying, hey, this is not interesting for me, it's not scalable, whatever, to get into this discussion, how we can do that, how we can better build this process that it's good for you, because you're at the end the customer, you, the advertiser, the agency / whatever. So this should be the discussion, but normally you're sitting with publishers and then you're sitting, so this is sometimes missing. Yeah?
I've spent the last 2 years talking to advertisers and agencies around the world about this topic, so I'll catch you up later. But it isn't common for both sides to share their true thoughts in an environment like this. But essentially, it's exactly what we've summarized. It needs to be simple, it needs to be scalable, and also needs to have standards, needs to respect the regulations, the standards that the IAB can help us with, and it needs to be global. It can't just be one country, and it can't just be one big, but just one region.
Because the platforms having also global standards.
Yeah, platforms
so it's always the platforms have these global standards that are easy to do. So as the open web and a more diverse ecosystem, we also have to do this, because otherwise we cannot compete.
Exactly, because
it's relatively easy.
Yeah, there are ways to access a lot of fully logged in first-party data inside the walled garden. So sometimes, Gus, I hear that the answer to this might be to take a contextual targeting approach, and Robert gave us his opinion, very clear. What do you think about contextual targeting?
Again, it's not new, you know. We brought this as a new type of targeting, you know, but it's not new. You know, it's the same answer for me, you know. As an exchange, we are totally agnostic, so we will welcome any type of targeting. The good thing about contextual targeting is that we have a standard. The IAB has defined a taxonomy standard, so I should recommend to anyone in the stage, the audience, to use this standard. So it's good to have a predefined standard that you can use and scale. So pretty much the same, but I talked about it in the presentation before. It's critical to send signals and to be as transparent as we can, you know. And if we want to leverage the value of your audience, you know, as a publisher, I would probably focus more on the content, bringing a lot of content, chasing more audience, etc., versus focusing on having and developing ad tech, etc. And the ad tech is another business and another DNA. But yes, being standard, using standards and because it's scalable.
Brice?
Well, I kind of understand, but from the publisher, the point of view is a bit slightly different, let's say.
Yeah.
What we see with the contextual, we have a lot of companies now approaching us, you know, to use our content and to be like a layer between our content, which is a unique sales proposition, and they want to make money with our content. So they want to be like not only helping us to
they're
categorize.
Already doing this. They're not wanting, they're already doing this.
They are doing this. So this is what we are doing. We are trying to say no. We want to get, you are talking about control, and this is what we would like to do. With contextual, we would like to get back control. We see the third party, you know, it's definitely tempting to work with them because it's more money. This is our short-term objective, you know. We have to read the budget this month. But long-term, you know, we have to take back the control. So what we are doing right now is trying to look for technology who could help us. We are testing the Watson from IBM, how to categorize. So yes, exactly as you said, you know, my magic is better than the other one.
Yeah,
but what we have to do is to choose one, see how we could, on top of this, implement some knowledge we have. You know, for example, we have journalists every day, you know, tagging the article they were writing.
Yeah.
So this is our knowledge, and definitely, you know, according to what the demand is expecting, we definitely have to have a content strategy to be able to have a more reach or for more reach for our advertisers. But the main idea is we want the control back, and we want to be the one who are deciding how we classify this. There is another good initiative from Google. I'm talking, I think, too much about Google today, but they have the publisher single signals, which is, I like the idea. At the end, Google, they are good at the end, technology-wise. So we have to learn from them. But we really like the PSS because you are able to send to the demand signals about the context, but also about the behavior. And when we will be with third-party cookies, without third-party cookies, we still have this knowledge with the first-party data, and it's not only about logged-in users. And so we are able to offer more reach to the users, to the advertisers, for the brands. So we definitely think we have to follow this path and explain the demand. They have to trust us because we are the one who know better the content. It's our job, it's our core business.
I just want to say something for the contextual part. So in ChatGPT, we have all the discussion about AI. The whole ChatGPT is trained by the whole internet and the content of publishers all over the world. So there is at the moment no feedback channeling about there is Acts regulation coming. So do we get some value? And so it's the same with the contextual. Do we get some value back for that we created, that we have this content? And so most of the time the argument is that you get ads on your website, so you get demand, and I think this is not enough for having that you can scrape the website. So this discussion is going on. We saw that recently something from Guardian. There is a contextual company paying them now to scrape the website. So it's about this should be something which is getting more and more into the discussion, that there should be some rules about that. The same with AI.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and you use the word scraping there as well.
It's scraping the whole website. You have contextual, they know all URLs and so on. Google's also doing that. You have the copyright discussion regulation as well. This is always getting up.
Okay, so moving on to one of the other key things that Constantine highlighted, and that you've certainly shared a lot. Oh, you can't hear. So moving on to another of the key things of this panel, video. So you gave us a great overview of video, and then moved to connected TV and the focus on that as a business. What about you at PRISA, Brice? What has been your approach to digital video?
Augustin mentioned this, we come from print, at PRISA, and we also have a radio, let's focus on print. We definitely have to switch to video. Why? Because currently, before the behavior of the user, the way they were consuming the content was quite predictable. Right now, with all the offer, all the streaming platforms, YouTube, social networks, the user is consuming content, every time in several angles, with several perspectives. If it's at home, you can listen to the radio with a smart speaker. If it's in the subway, you can listen to it read. So what we have seen, the most important is not where the content is consumed, but the content itself. And so what we decided is definitely last year video skyrocketing, so we decided to invest on video. And our strategy is multi-distribution. You cannot only access the content, video content, in our own operating, our website. Also you can get on CTV, some manufacturers, on YouTube, but YouTube is definitely a must. And the way we do it in this strategy is to adapt the content to the media. So if it's on social networks, short content, on verticals, but on CTV, we can provide really good quality of content, 4K, CTV on PC experience, where the user want to watch and inform themselves via TV. They can have not only good content from a journalistic perspective, but also from the quality of the content. So it's what we are doing.
It's a lot of investment in the video area.
Definitely, and the strategy to get some return on investment. And we are talking about the free access to the content. It's definitely what we are doing. We only provide our video content on platform financed by advertising. So fast channel, in CTV, digital with YouTube. So this is the idea.
Robert, video?
Sure. It's one of the most growing and most important things for us. We're heavily investing. We're growing. We have a new product called Play called Build.E, for example, if you want to see it. Virtual video, sport video consuming, part of our content. We're heavily invested into the ad stack of video. So we built up our own SSAI, server-side ad insertion product, where we can build up video channels for ourselves and inserting video ads for ourselves. So we're really investing and thinking that there will be a lot of these channels build it up, so it's not this broadcast one thing. There will be a lot of like these personalized video channels on all platforms, and there have to be our content, which is important. And so, but this is like for a challenge for editors, that mind and how to create video. And the problem is how you monetize that, because video creation is normally a bit more expensive than just building articles, standard articles. And so how you really invest in all the monetization going back from a margin perspective, that is still a big challenge to do that. But we're definitely doing a lot of this one, and we have our own team, which is an OTT team, we call it, just building ad stack things and building up the content inventory thing. We're really doing a lot.
So it sounds like the prediction from Montreux 11 years ago was accurate. Both publishers on the panel are doing not just video, but connected to video as well.
Yeah, it's really linked to the usage, you know, and I have kids, I have 4 daughters, and I used to read a lot. They read a bit, but the usage is really video. So you cannot swim against the current. You need to follow the current. So the user experience is much better on video, you want to give content, but also on advertising.
Yeah.
But there's one thing, I think, because we also saw one thing. We were a few years ago heavily into TV and digital video, and then we saw like a really decrease in viewership and even some of the traffic. Why? Because we wanted to push completely as a press publisher into video heavily. And then people were like, I don't want a video. I'm sitting here just browsing in my subway and so on. I don't want to have video now. So it's really about the situation when you can push, because you're still for a press publisher, and this means that you have to build this balance. You cannot just, you have to make the move, but not like heavily, like with a hammer. You have to be a bit careful how you do this.
No, actually, we were thinking about this in PRISA, how to address this challenge, how to balance, and we decided to give the choice to the user. So it's a bit an exclusivity, because we will launch a new product next week. But the challenge was how to create more video inventory, you know, in our website, but without this harder.
Yeah.
But when I'm going to talk about this, maybe it's a bit harder, but the user has a choice. Our idea is we have, 5 million users, unique user every month, and the idea, they are consuming a lot of articles, because we still have, luckily, users, the other case on reading, but we will remove all the ads from the article to offer a better experience of reading, to have the users connecting with the content. But on top, it's only a mobile product. On top of the product, on top of the screen, we will put a video with a pre-roll, and just after the pre-roll, we got content. So I think we decided to do this for the user, because you have to see this, you have to have that mobile in your hand, and see this application is just amazing. It's like to be with ad blockers, but only with 20-second spot, without any ads in the article. And after, we have content. So we are working on specific content for this window to be able to interact with the user. We are putting all the learning from the first-party data and our knowledge of the user to be able to have this conversation window with the user. So everybody is reading. First of all, the user is reading, which was the most important one we had on the brainstorming of this. Second, for the web performance optimization, it's good. So it means maybe more traffic, because more experience for the users. So Google will be happy about this. And for the advertisers, it's good. They are 100% usability and PTR, view rate. So we think we have the perfect balance. And we will launch this officially. We explain the demand with some tests on small portion of traffic. And the KPIs from the audience perspective were good. Maybe they read less the article, less time spent on the page, because if you remove all the ads from text, an article, they go directly to the but we have a good recirculation, more engagement.
You still have below the article /tabula. For sure.
Yes, because the content says but it's at the end of the article, so it doesn't kill the spirit of the idea, which is don't bother the user what is reading.
Yeah, so it's more about the value exchange, and also you must forget that advertisers, they love to invest in video advertising and then also to go to TV.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. You don't need to have video advertising. It's also the nice thing about video. You can have video advertising within the print content. So it's quite simple, my generation, when I was a huge fan of video advertising. There was this TV show called Culture, and it was every Sunday evening, and I couldn't miss one, And I liked the experience of video advertising, even on print.
I think the AI will create a lot of articles, a lot of video content, perhaps with the AI speaker and showing whatever the content in a different way. But it's less than just video, although it was text beforehand. So let's see how this moves out into like how content is created and how this can be put into a video experience, although it was a different content.
Yeah, and to answer to what you have said, it was a bit probably disappointed 2 years ago because you couldn't monetize as you wanted. But and you have a lot of technical challenges with this, all of them, and it's really tricky for you. But now more and more partners like us we are totally only, so we can solve many of those challenges, especially.
The addressability problem is also a video. Then the next challenge, because there is part of it at some points on some of the platforms, this one's cookie, sometimes even cookie enabled or whatever else. So I think there is a next challenge coming up, how you then have pre-rules for the targeting or not, or is there how it's done contextual.
Another challenge that's coming up, and we've heard about it over the last couple of days, is retail media or the rise of e-commerce. How do you tackle that? What's your approach?
E-commerce in my title. I'm also responsible for we're doing real e-commerce, but that is sometimes a challenge doing real e-commerce as a publisher. But we see that e-commerce have the option to gather more intent data. That's the key. We're seeing that this don't want to be offending, but this is like now retailers get into so retailers are building up, doing advertising and everything. But the interesting part is what I hear out of discussions is that retailers have problems that they don't have some of the frequency and some of the scale and the knowledge and how this can be done. And so we are looking about like some, we have the reach, but some we are looking the intent data. So I think there will be more collaboration coming between publishers and retailers to find a way how you can collaborate to bring this to a new level. It's perhaps at the end also a frenemy situation because it's on the one hand you want to work together, but yeah, they're getting into the field and perhaps taking out some of the revenue from publishers, and we have to see how this works out. But it's interesting, it's pushing up the competition and helping us as publishers how we can succeed in e-commerce and how we can get this data and make this actionable, because we have this reach and frequency. That is our point, because you are visiting the news website every day and every retailer perhaps every 2 weeks or maybe longer.
Yeah, keep innovating, keep learning. We see a lot of identity-related retail media in Germany specifically. What about you, Brice? Retail media, is this a threat?
No, it's a threat now. We would like to see that as an opportunity. because we don't have the choice. So let's see the opportunity. We have 3 lines of action. So one is exactly what Robert was saying, and we have to find a way to collaborate with the retailers. So 2 ways, how we can make sure they can get the users in our inventory. So they are on the buy side, and by a clean room or even clean room with third-party cookies, how we can push our first-party data to enrich that data to help them to make a better job. So this is one of the approach. The second one, we made some tests with Amazon that we started. It was to create content for them, because at the end, our core business is to generate content. And when in their platform, somebody was looking for more information.
But I heard that they want to stop this.
Yeah,
I read about it that Amazon is stopping this content to their website program. I don't know much, but I read about it.
Exactly. So, but we're involved, and we like the idea. So the same as with Google, when we see a good idea, let's try to replicate it with other players in the market. And so this is the second thing we are working on. And the third one, but which is very specific to PRISA, we have a sales team of more than 200 people all around Spain, because we have local radios, so we have very good access to local advertisers and local retailers. So what we would like to do is to be the platform of the long-tail retail media, because they don't have technology, they don't have digital knowledge to be able to step in this retail media. So we could be the one helping these long-tail advertisers to monetize their website and help them, to generate more revenues in their website itself. To replicate what we are doing with the big fishes,
Big fish and small fish. What about you guys? What's the approach from index exchange to retail media?
a huge opportunity for premium publishers and for us, for different reasons. The main reason is that those brands who work with the retailers, and we take the example of Carrefour, are brands that they were not on digital advertising. Most of those brands were on TV, and so we didn't unlock this massive opportunity. And the second reason is that when you go to a shop, you go to the shop because you know the product. So, and I will repeat the basic of advertising. There is a phenomenon called AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. And if you work only on the action part, during the advertising on site, you miss a huge part of the first part of the phenomenon. So I think if the brands want to meet their audience before work on branding, interest, desire, they need to work with premium advertising, premium publishers. And so, for me, it's one of the biggest opportunities for the premium publisher. And then, if you on the side, but there is an amazing combo, CTV and retail media. They want to advertise with video, and they will have actually also the data that they use.
Okay, so there's a clear opportunity there. It sounds like a threat, but it's an opportunity. We've covered a lot of ground. I have so much more that I want to ask. I guess we'll just
time
for that.
already.
I know, I'm in trouble. And I'm the timer. So we've talked about first-party data, contextual targeting, video, retail media, e-commerce. It sounds to me like there's a lot of learning on the panel, a lot of experience that you've had. Some of it you've shared here and in your presentations. Perhaps you can share more with us over lunch. But first of all, will you please all join me in thanking the panelists?